limit for me, he growls. I think we've established that, I hiss through my teeth. Look at me. I pull down my camisole to reveal the top of my breasts. Christian gazes at me, his eyes not leaving my face, his expression wary and uncertain. He's not used to seeing me this mad. Can't he see what he's done? Can't he see how ridiculous he is? I want to shout at him, but I refrain. I don't want to push him too far. Heaven knows what he'd do. Eventually, he sighs and holds his palms up in a resigned, conciliatory gesture. Okay, he says, his voice placating. I get it. Hallelujah. Good. He runs his hand through his hair. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. Finally, he looks contrite, using my own words back at me. You are such an adolescent sometimes. I scold him mulishly, but the fight has gone out of my voice, and he knows it. He steps closer and tentatively raises his hand to tuck my hair behind my ear. I know, he acknowledges softly. I have a lot to learn. Dr. Flynn's words come back to me. Emotionally, Christian is an adolescent, Anna. He bypassed that phase in his life totally. He's channeled all his energies into succeeding in the business world, and he has, beyond all expectations. His emotional world has to play catch-up. My heart falls a little. We both do. I sigh and cautiously raise my hand, placing it over his heart. He doesn't flinch like he used to. He rests his hand over mine and smiles. I've just learned that you've a good arm and a good aim, Mrs. Gray. I would never have figured that, but then I constantly underestimate you. You always surprise me. I arch my eyebrow at him. Target practice with Ray. I can throw and shoot straight, Mr. Gray, and you do well to remember that. I will endeavor to do that, Mrs. Gray, or ensure that all potential projectile objects are nailed down and that you don't have access to a gun. He smirks. I smirk back, narrowing my eyes. I'm resourceful. That you are, he whispers, and releases my hand to circle his arms around me. Pulling me into an embrace, he buries his nose in my hair. I wrap my arms around him, holding him close, and feel the tension leave his body as he nuzzles me. Am I forgiven? Am I? I feel his smile. Yes, he answers. Ditto. We stand holding each other, my peak forgotten. He does smell good, adolescent or not. How can I resist him? How rude, he says after a while. I have my eyes closed and my head against his chest. Yes, famished. All the, activity has given me an appetite. But I'm not dressed for dinner. I'm sure my sweatpants and camisole would be frowned upon in the dining room. You look good to me, Anastasia. Besides, it's our boat for the week. We can dress how we like. Think of it as dress down Tuesday on the Côte d'Azur. Anyway, I thought on deck. Yes, I'd like that. He kisses me, an earnest forgive me kiss. Then we wander hand toward the bow, where our gazpacho. The steward serves our creme brulee and discreetly retires. Why do you always braid my hair? I ask Christian out of curiosity. We're sitting adjacent to each other at the table, my lower leg curled around his. He pauses as he's about to pick up his dessert spoon and frowns. I don't want your hair catching in anything, he says quietly, and for a moment, he's lost in thought. Habit, I think. He muses. Suddenly he frowns and his eyes widen, his pupils dilating with alarm. What's he remembered? It's something painful, some early childhood memory, I guess. I don't want to remind him of that. Leaning over, I put my index finger over his lips. No, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know. I was just curious. I give him a warm, reassuring smile. His look is wary, but after a moment, he visibly relaxes, his relief evident. I lean over to kiss the corner of his mouth. I love you, I murmur, and he smiles his heart-achingly shy smile, and I melt. I will always love you, Christian. And I you, he says softly. In spite of my disobedience, I raise my eyebrow, because of your station. He grins. Crack my spoon through the burnt sugar crust of my dessert and shake my head. Will I ever understand this man? This creme brulee is delicious. Once the steward has cleared our dessert plates, Christian reaches for the bottle of rosé and refills my glass. I check that we're alone and ask, what's with the no going to the bathroom thing? You really want to know? He half smiles with a salacious gleam. Do I? I gaze at him through my lashes as I take a sip of my wine. The fuller your bladder, the more intense your orgasm, Anna. I blush. I see. Holy cow, that explains a lot. He grins, looking far too knowing. Will I always be on the back foot with Mr. Sexpertise? Yes, well, I desperately hunt around for a change of subject. He takes pity on me. What do you want to do for the rest of the evening? He cocks his head to one side and gives me his lopsided grin. Whatever you want, Christian. Put your theory to the test again? I shrug. I know what I want to do. He murmurs, grabbing his glass of wine. He rises and holds his hand out to me. Come. I take his hand and he leads me into the main salon. His iPod is in the speaker dock on the dresser. He switches it on and selects a song. Dance with me. He pulls me into his arms. If you insist. I insist, Mrs. Gray. A slinky, cheesy melody starts. Is this a Latin rhythm? Christian grins down at me and starts to move, sweeping me off my feet and taking me with him around the salon. A man with a voice like warm melted caramel croons. It's a song I know but can't place. Christian dips me low and I yelp in surprise and giggle. He smiles, his eyes filled with humor. Then he scoops me up and spins me under his arm. You dance so well, I say. It's like I can dance. He gives me a sphinx-like smile but says nothing, and I wonder if it's because he's thinking of her, Mrs. Robinson, the woman who taught him how to dance and how to fuck. She hasn't crossed my mind for a while. Christian has not mentioned her since his birthday, and as far as I'm aware, their business relationship is over. Reluctantly, though, I have to admit, she was some teacher. He dips me low again and plants a swift kiss on my lips. I'd miss your love, I murmur, echoing the lyrics. I'd more than miss your love, he says, and spins me once more. Then he sings the words softly in my ear, making me swoon. The track ends and Christian gazes down at me, his eyes all humor gone, and I'm suddenly breathless. Come to bed with me, he whispers, and it's a heartfelt plea that tugs at my heart. Christian, you've had me at I do 2.5 weeks ago, but I know this is his way of apologizing and making sure all is well between us after our spat. When I wake, the sun is shining through the portholes and the water reflects shimmering patterns onto the cabin ceiling. Christian is nowhere to be seen. I stretch out and smile. I'll take a punishment fuck followed by makeup sex any day. I marvel at what it is to go to bed with 2 different men, Angry Christian and sweet, let me make it up to you in any way I can, Christian. It's tricky to decide which of them I like best. I rise and head for the bathroom. Opening the door, I find Christian inside shaving, naked except for a towel wrapped around his waist. He turns and beams, not fazed that I am interrupting him. I have discovered that Christian will never lock the door if he is the only person in the room. The reason is sobering, and not one I want to dwell on. Good morning, Mrs. Gray, he says, radiating his good mood. Good morning yourself. I grin back as I watch him shave. I love watching him shave. He pulls up his chin and shaves beneath it, taking long, deliberate strokes. And I find myself unconsciously mirroring his actions, pulling my upper lip down just as he does to shave his philtrum. He turns and smirks at me, one half of his face still covered in shaving soap. Enjoying the show? He asks. Oh, Christian, I could watch you for hours. One of my all-time favorites, I murmur, and he leans down and kisses me quickly, smearing shaving soap on my face. Shall I do this to you again? He whispers wickedly and holds up the razor. I purse my lips at him. No, I mutter, pretending to sulk. I remember Christian's joy in London. Discovered that during his one meeting there, I'd shaved off my pubic hair out of curiosity. Of course, I hadn't done it to Mr. Exacting's high standards. What the hell have you done? Christian exclaims. He cannot keep his horrified amusement to himself. He sits up in bed in our suite at Brown's Hotel near Piccadilly, switches on the bedside light, and gazes down at me, his mouth a startled. It must be midnight. I blush the color of the sheets in the playroom and try to pull down my satin nightdress so he can't see. He grabs my hand to stop me. Anna, I, shaved. I can see that. Why? He's grinning from ear to ear. I cover my face with my hands. Why am I so embarrassed? Hey, he says softly and pulls my hand away. Don't hide. He's biting his lips so that he won't laugh. Tell me, why? His eyes dance with merriment. Why does he find this so funny? Stop laughing at me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm sorry, I'm delighted, he says. Oh, tell me, why? I take a deep breath. This morning, after you left for your meeting, I took a shower and was remembering all your rules. He blinks. The humor in his expression has vanished, and he regards me cautiously. And I was taking them off, one by one, and how I felt about them. And I remembered the beauty salon, and I thought, this is what you'd like. I wasn't brave enough to get a wax. My voice disappears into a whisper. He stares at me, his eyes glowing, this time not with mirth at my folly, but with love. Oh, Anna, he breathes. He leans down and kisses me tenderly. You beguile me. He whispers against my lips and kisses me once more, clasping my face in both his hands. After a breathless moment, he pulls back and leans on my elbow. The humor is back. I think I should do a thorough inspection of your handiwork, Mrs. Gray. What? No! He has to be kidding. I cover myself, protecting my recently deforested area. Oh, no you don't, Anastasia. He grasps my hands and pries them away, moving nimbly so he's between my legs and pinning my hands to my sides. He gives me a scorching look that could light dry tinder, but before I combust, he bends and skims his lips down my naked belly directly to my sex. I squirm beneath him, reluctant to my fate. Well, what have we here? Christian plants a kiss where, until this morning, I had pubic hair, then scrapes his bristly chin across me. Ah! I exclaim. Wow, that's sensitive. Christian's eyes dart to mine, full of salacious longing. I think you missed a bit, he mutters and tugs gently right underneath. Oh, damn, I mutter, hoping this will put an end to his frankly intrusive scrutiny. I have an idea. He leaps naked out of bed and heads to the bathroom. What on earth is he doing? He returns moments later carrying a glass of water, a mug, my razor, his shaving brush, soap, and a towel. He puts the water, brush, soap, and razor on the bedside table and gazes down at me, holding the towel. Oh no! My subconscious slams down her complete works of Charles Dickens, leaps up from her armchair, and puts her hands on her hips. No! 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 I squeak. Mrs. Gray, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Lift your hips. His eyes glow summer storm gray. Christian, you are not shaving me. He tilts his head to one side. Why ever not? I blush. Isn't it obvious? Because it's just too intimate, he whispers. Anna, I crave intimacy with you. You know that. Besides, after some of the things we've done, don't get all squeamish on me now. And I know this part of your body better than you do. I gape at him. Of all of the arrogant, true, he does, but still, it's just wrong. My voice is prissy and whiny. This isn't wrong. This is hot. Hot? Really? This turns you on? I can't keep the astonishment out of my voice. Can't you tell? He glances down at his arousal. I want to shave you, he whispers. Oh, what the hell? I lie back, throwing my arm over my face so I don't have to watch. If it makes you happy, Christian, go ahead. You are so kinky, I mutter as I lift my hips, and he slips a towel beneath me. He kisses my inner thigh. Oh, baby, how right you are. I hear the slosh of water as he dips the shaving brush in the glass of water, then the soft swirl of the brush in the mug. He grasps my left ankle and parts my legs, and the bed dips as he sits between my legs. I'd really like to tie you up right now, he murmurs. I promise to keep still. Good. I gasp as he runs the lathered brush over my pubic bone. It's warm. The water in the glass must be hot. I squirm a little. It tickles, but in a good way. Don't move. Christian admonishes and applies the brush again, or I will tie you down. He adds darkly, and a delicious shiver runs down my spine. Have you done this before? I ask tentatively when he reaches for the no. Oh, good. I grin. Another first, Mrs. Gray. I like firsts. Me too. Here goes. And with a gentleness that surprises me, he runs the razor over my sensitive flesh. Keep still, he says distractedly, and I know he's concentrating hard. It's only a matter of minutes before he grabs the towel and wipes all the excess lather off me. There, that's more like it, he muses, and I finally lift my arm to look at him as he sits back to admire his handiwork. Happy? I ask, my voice hoarse. Very. He grins wickedly and slowly uses a finger inside me. But that was fun, he says, his eyes gently mocking. For you, maybe. I try to pout, but he's right. It was arousing. I seem to recall the aftermath was very satisfying. Christian returns to finishing his shave. I glance quickly down at my fingers. Yes, it was. I had no idea that the absence of pubic hair could make such a difference. Hey, I'm just teasing. Isn't that what husbands who are hopelessly in love with their wives do? Christian tips my chin up and gazes at me, His eyes suddenly filled with apprehension as he endeavors to read my expression. Payback time. Sit, I mutter. He stares, not understanding. I push him gently toward the lone white stool in the bathroom. Perplexed, he sits down, and I take the razor from him. Anna? He warns as he realizes my intention. I lean down and kiss him. Head back, I whisper. He hesitates. Tit for tat, Mr. Gray. He stares at me with wary, amused disbelief. You know what you're doing? He asks, his voice low. I shake my head slowly, deliberately, trying to look as serious as possible. He closes his eyes and shakes his head, then tilts it back in surrender. Holy shit! He's going to let me shave him. Tentatively, I slide my hand into the damp hair on his forehead, gripping tightly to hold him still. He clenches his eyes closed and parts his lips as he inhales. Very gently, I stroke his razor up from his neck to his chin, revealing a path of skin beneath the lather. Christian exhales. Did you think I was going to hurt you? I never know what you're going to do, Anna, but no, not intentionally. I run the razor up his neck again, clearing a wider path in the lather. I would never intentionally hurt you, Christian. He opens his eyes and circles his arms around me as I gently drag the razor down his cheek from the bottom of his sideburns. I know, he says, angling his face so I can shave the rest of his cheek. 2 more strokes, and I finished. All done, and not a drop of blood spilled. I grin proudly. He runs his hand up my leg so that my nightdress rides up my thigh and pulls me onto his lap so that I'm astride him. I steady myself with my hands on his upper arms. He's really very muscular. Can I take you somewhere today? No sunbathing? I arch a caustic brow at him. He licks his lips nervously. No sunbathing today. I thought you might prefer something else. Well, since you've covered me in hickeys and effectively put the kibosh on that, sure, why not? Wisely, he chooses to ignore my tone. It's a drive, but it's worth a visit from what I've read. My dad recommended we visit. It's a hilltop village called Saint Paul de Vence. There are some galleries there. I thought we could pick out some paintings or sculptures for the new house, if we find anything we like. I lean back and gaze at him. Art. He wants to buy art. How can I buy art? What? He asks. I know nothing about art, Christian. He shrugs and smiles at me indulgently. We'll buy only what we like. This isn't about investment. Investment? What? He says again. I shake my head. Look, I know we only got the architect's drawings the other day, but there's no harm in looking, and the town is an ancient medieval place. Oh, the architect. He had to remind me of her, Gia Mateo, a friend of Elliot's who worked on Christian's place in Aspen. During our meetings, she'd been all over Christian like a rash. What now? Christian exclaims. I shake my head. Tell me, he urges. How can I tell him that I don't like Gia? My dislike is irrational. I don't want to come across as a jealous wife. You're not so mad about what I did yesterday. He sighs and between my breasts. No, I'm hungry, I mutter, knowing full well that this will distract him from this line of questioning. Why didn't you say? He eases me off his lap and stands. Saint Paul de Vence is a fortified medieval hilltop village, one of the most picturesque places I have ever seen. I stroll arm in arm with Christian through the narrow cobblestone streets, with my hand in the back pocket of his shorts. Taylor and either Gaston or Philippe, I can't tell the difference between them, trail behind us. We pass a tree-covered square where 3 old men, one wearing a traditional beret in spite of the heat, are playing boule. It's quite crowded with tourists, but I feel comfortable tucked under Christian's arm. There is so much to see. Little alleys and passageways leading to courtyards with intricate stone fountains, ancient and modern sculptures, and fascinating little boutiques and shops. In the first gallery, Christian gazes distractedly at the erotic photographs in front of us, sucking gently on the arm of his aviator specs. They are the work of ROTHSCHILD, naked women in various poses. Not quite what I had in mind, I mumbled disapprovingly. They make me think of the box of photographs I found in his closet. Our closet. I wonder if he ever did destroy them. Maybe though, Christian says, grinning down at me. He takes my hand and we stroll to the next artist. I breathe. I wonder if I should let him take photos of me. The next display is by a female painter who specializes in still lifes, fruit and vegetables super close up and in rich, glorious color. I like those. I point to 3 paintings of peppers. They remind me of you chopping vegetables in my apartment. I giggle. Christian's mouth twists as he tries and fails to hide his amusement. I thought I managed that quite competently. He mutters, I was just a bit slow, and anyway. He pulls me into an embrace. You were distracted. Where would you put them? What? Christian is nuzzling my ear. The paintings. Where would you put them? He bites my earlobe and I feel it in my groin. Kitchen, I murmur. Nice idea, Mrs. Gray. I squint at the price. 5,000 euros each. Holy shit. They're really expensive, I gasp. So? He nuzzles me again. Get used to it now. He releases me and saunters over to the desk where a young woman dressed entirely in white is gaping at him. I want to roll my eyes, but turn my attention back to the paintings. 5,000 euros. Please. We have finished lunch and are relaxing over coffee at the Hotel Le Saint Paul. The view of the surrounding countryside is stunning. Vineyards and fields of sunflowers form a patchwork across the plain, interspersed here and there with neat little French farmhouses. It's such a clear, beautiful day. We can see all the way to the sea, glinting faintly on the horizon. Christian interrupts my reverie. You asked me why I braid your hair. He murmurs. His tone alarms me. He looks guilty. Yes? Oh, shit. The crack whore used to let me braid her hair, I think. I don't know if it's a memory or a dream. Whoa, his birth mom. He gazes at me, his expression unreadable. My heart leaps into my mouth. What do I say when he says things like this? I like it when you play with my hair. My voice is hesitant. He regards me with uncertainty. Yes, it's the truth. I grasp his hand. I think you loved your birth mother, Christian. His eyes widen and he stares at me impassively, saying nothing. Holy shit. Have I gone too far? Say something, please. But he remains resolutely mute, gazing at me with fathomless gray eyes while the silence stretches between us. He looks lost. He glances down at my hand on his, and he frowns. Say something, I whisper, because I cannot bear the silence any longer. He shakes his head, exhaling deeply. Let's go. He releases my hand and stands, his expression guarded. Have I overstepped the mark? I have no idea. My heart sinks. I don't know whether to say anything else or just let it go. I decide on the latter and follow him dutifully out of the restaurant. In the lovely narrow street, he takes my hand. Where do you want to go? He speaks, and he's not mad at me. Thank heavens. I exhale, relieved, and shrug. I am just glad you're still speaking to me.
was one of the
You
first
know I don't
powerful
like talking about all that shit. It's
also
done.
one of the first
Finished.
city-states
He says quietly.
by
No,
a
Christian,
tyrant,
it isn't.
which in other words means
The thought
somebody
saddens
who
me,
overthrew
and for the first
the
time I
established
wonder if it will
monarchs,
ever be
such as the
finished.
priest kings,
He'll always
the
be
elected
50 shades.
aristocrat.
My 50 shades. Do I
Periander
want him to
is
change?
probably the
No,
most well-known
not really.
Corinthian
Only
tyrant
insofar as I
due to
want
the
him to
success
feel
of his
love.
leadership, making
Peeking up at him, I take a moment to admire his captivating
of
beauty.
this era.
And he's mine.
Other pollades of Greek
And it's not just the allure of his fine face and his body that has me spellbound. It's what's behind the perfection that draws me, that calls to me. His fragile, damaged soul. He gives me that look, down his nose, half amused, half wary, wholly sexy, then tucks me under his arm. And we make our way through the tourists toward the spot where Philippe/Gaston has parked the roomy Mercedes. I slip my hand back into the back pocket of Christian's shorts, grateful that he isn't mad. But honestly, what 4-year-old child doesn't love his mom, no matter how bad a mom she is? I sigh heavily and hug him closer as the security team lurks, and I wonder idly if they've eaten. Christian stops outside a small boutique selling fine jewelry and gazes in the window, then down at me. He grasps my free hand and runs his thumb across the faded red line of the handcuff mark, inspecting it. It's not sore, I reassure him. He twists so that my other hand is freed from his pocket. He clasps that hand too, turning it gently over to examine my wrist. The platinum Omega watch he gave me at breakfast obscures the red line. The inscription still: Anastasia, you are my more, my love, my life, Christian. In spite of everything, all his 50ness, my husband can be so romantic. I gaze down at the faint marks on my wrist. Then again, he can be savage sometimes. Releasing my left hand, he tilts my chin up with his fingers and scrutinizes my expression, his eyes troubled. They don't hurt, I repeat. He pulls my hand to his lips and plants a soft, apologetic kiss on the inside of my wrist. Come, he says, and leads me into the shop. Christian holds open the platinum bracelet he's just purchased. It's exquisite, so delicately crafted, the filigree in the shape of flowers with small diamonds at their hearts. He fastens it around my wrist. It's wide and cuff-like and hides the red marks. It also cost 30,000 euros, I think, though I couldn't really follow the conversation in French with the sales assistant. I have never worn anything so expensive. There, that's better, he murmurs. Better? I whisper, gazing into luminous gray eyes, conscious that the stick-thin sales assistant is staring at us with a jealous and disapproving look. You know why, Christian says uncertainly. I don't need this. I shake my wrist and the cuff moves. It catches the afternoon light streaming through the boutique window, and small sparkling rainbows dance off the diamonds all over the walls of the store. I do, he says with utter sincerity. Why? Why does he need this? Does he feel guilty? About what? The marks? His birth mother? Not confiding in me? Oh, 50. No, Christian, you don't. You've given me so much already. A magical honeymoon, London, Paris, the Côte d'Azur, and you. I'm a very lucky girl, I whisper, and his eyes soften. No, Anastasia, I'm a very lucky man. Thank you. Stretching up on tiptoes, I put my arms around his neck and kiss him, not for giving me the bracelet, but for being mine. Back in the car, he's introspective, gazing out at the fields of bright sunflowers. following and basking in the afternoon sun. One of the twins, I think it's Gaston, is driving and Taylor is beside him up front. Christian is brooding about something. I clasp his hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. He glances at me before releasing my hand and caressing my knee. I'm wearing a short, full, blue and white skirt and a blue, fitted, sleeveless shirt. Christian hesitates, and I don't know if his hand is going to travel up my thigh or down my leg. I tense with anticipation at the gentle touch of his fingers, and my breath catches. What's he going to do? He chooses down, suddenly grasping my ankle and pulling my foot onto his lap. I swivel my backside so I'm facing him in the back of the car. I want the other one too. I glance and Gaston, whose eyes are resolutely on the road ahead, and place my other foot on his lap. His eyes cool. He reaches over and presses a button located on his door. In front of us, a lightly tinted privacy screen slides out of a panel, and 10 seconds later, we are effectively on our own. Wow, no wonder the back of this car has so much leg room. I want to look at your ankles. Christian offers his quiet explanation. His gaze is anxious. The cuff marks? Jeez, I thought we dealt with this. If there are marks, they are hidden by my sandal straps. I don't recall seeing any this morning. Gently, he strokes his thumb up my right instep, making me wriggle. A smile plays on his lips, and deftly he undoes one strap, and his smile fades as he's confronted with the darker red marks. It doesn't hurt, I murmur. He glances at me and his expression is sad, his mouth a thin line. He nods once as if he's taking me at my word while I shake my sandal loose so it falls to the floor. But I know I've lost him. Caressing my foot while he turns away to gaze out the car window once more. Hey, what did you expect? I ask softly. He glances at me and shrugs. I didn't expect to feel like I do looking at these marks. He says, oh, reticent one minute and forthcoming the next? How 50? How can I keep up with him? How do you feel? Bleak eyes gaze at me. Uncomfortable. Murmurs. Oh no. I unbuckle my seatbelt and scoot closer to him, leaving my feet in his lap. I want to crawl into his lap and hold him, and I would if it were just Taylor in the front. But knowing Gaston is there cramps my style despite the glass. If only it were darker. I clutch his hands. It's the hickeys I don't like, I whisper. Everything else, what you did? I lower my voice even further. I enjoyed that. Well, more than enjoyed. It was mind-blowing. You can do that to me again anytime. He shifts in his seat. Mind-blowing? My inner goddess looks up, startled from her Jackie Collins. Yes. I grin. I flex my toes into his hardening crotch and see, rather than hear, his sharp intake of breath, his lips parting. You should really be wearing your seatbelt, Mrs. Gray. His voice is low, and I curl my toes around him once more. He inhales and his eyes darken, and he clasps my ankle in warning. Does he want me to stop? Continue? He pauses, scowls, then fishes his ever-present BlackBerry out of his pocket to take an incoming call while glancing at his watch. His frown deepens. Horny, he snaps. Crap. Work interrupting us again. I try to remove my feet, but he tightens his fingers around my ankle. In the server room? He says in disbelief. Did it activate the fire suppression system? Fire? I take my feet off his lap, and this time he lets me. I sit back in my seat, buckle my seatbelt, and fiddle nervously with the 30,000 euro bracelet. Christian presses the button on his door armrest again, and the privacy glass slides down. Anyone injured? Damage? I see. When? Christian glances at his watch again, then runs his fingers through his hair. No, not the fire department or the police. Not yet, anyway. A fire? At Christian's office? I gape at him, my mind racing. Taylor shifts so he can hear Christian's conversation. Has he? Good. Okay. I want a detailed damage report, and a complete rundown of everyone who had access over the last 5 days, including the cleaning staff. Get hold of Andrea and get her to call me. Yeah, sounds like the argon is just as effective, worth its weight in gold. Damage report? Argon? It rings a distant bell from chemistry class. An element, I think. I realize it's early. Email me in 2 hours. No, I need to know. Thank you for calling me. Christian hangs up, then immediately punches a number into the BlackBerry. Welch. Good. When? Christian glances at his watch, yet again. An hour then. Yes. 24/7 at the off-site data store. Good. He hangs up. Philippe, I need to be on board within the hour. Monsieur. Shit, it's Philippe, not Gaston. The car surges forward. Christian glances at me, his expression unreadable. Anyone hurt? Christian shakes his head. Very little damage. He reaches over and clasps my hand, squeezing it reassuringly. Don't worry about this. My team is on it. And there he is, the CEO, in command, in control, and not flustered at all. Where was the fire? Server room. Grey House? Yes. His responses are quick, so I know he doesn't want to talk about it. Why so little damage? The server room is fitted with a state-of-the-art fire suppression system. Of course it is. Anna, please, don't worry. I'm not worried. I lie. We don't know for sure that it was arson, he says, cutting to the heart of my anxiety. My hand clutches my throat in fear. Charlie Tango, and now this? What next? Chapter 4. I'm restless. Christian has been holed up in the onboard study for over an hour. I have tried reading, watching TV, sunbathing, fully dressed sunbathing, but I can't relax, and I can't rid myself of this edgy feeling. After changing into shorts and a t-shirt, I remove the ludicrously expensive cuff and go to find Taylor. This is great, he says, startled from his Anthony Burgess novel. He's sitting in the small salon outside Christian's study. I'd like to go shopping. Yes, ma'am. He stands. I'd like to take the jet ski. His mouth drops open. He frowns at a loss for words. I don't want to bother Christian with this. He represses a sigh that I am not mistress of my own destiny. Then again, I don't want Christian to or me, for that matter. Striding confidently past him, I knock on the study door and enter. Christian is on his BlackBerry, leaning against the mahogany desk. He glances up. Andrea, hold please. He mutters into the phone, his expression serious. His gaze is politely expectant. Shit. Why do I feel like I've entered the principal's office? This man had me in handcuffs yesterday. I refuse to be intimidated by him. He's my husband, damn it. I square my shoulders and give him a broad smile. I'm going shopping. I'll take security with me. Sure. Take one of the twins, and Taylor too, he says. Know that whatever's happening is serious, because he doesn't question me further. I stand staring at him, wondering if I can help. Anything else? He asks. He wants me gone. Can I get you anything? I ask. He smiles his sweet, shy smile. No, baby, I'm good, he says. The crew will look after me. I want to kiss him. How? I can. He's my husband. Strolling purposefully forward, I plant a kiss on his lips, surprising him. Andrea, I'll call you back, he mutters. He puts the BlackBerry down on the desk behind him, pulls me into his embrace, and kisses me passionately. I am breathless when he releases me. His eyes are dark and needy. You're distracting me. I need to sort this so I can get back to my honeymoon. He runs an index finger down my face and caresses my chin, tilting my face up. Okay, I'm sorry. Please don't apologize, Mrs. Gray. I love your distractions. He kisses the corner of my mouth. Go spend some money. He releases me. Will do. I smirk at him as I exit his study. My subconscious shakes her head and purses her lips. You didn't tell him you were going on the jet ski. She chastises me in her sing-songy voice. I ignore her. Harpy. Taylor is patiently waiting. That's all cleared with high command. Can we go? I smile, trying to keep the sarcasm out of my voice. Taylor doesn't hide his admiring smile. Mrs. Gray, after you. Taylor patiently talks me through the controls on the jet ski and how to ride it. He has a calm, gentle authority about him. He's a good teacher. We are in the motor launch, bobbing and weaving on the calm waters of the harbor, beside the fair lady. Gaston looks on, his expression hidden by his shades, and one of the fair lady's crew is at the controls of the motor launch. Geez, 3 people with me, just because I want to go shopping. It's ridiculous. Zipping up my life jacket, I give Taylor a beaming grin. He holds out his hand to assist me as I climb onto the jet ski. Fasten the strap of the ignition key around your wrist, Mrs. Gray. If you fall off, the engine will cut out automatically, he explains. Okay. Ready? I nod enthusiastically. Press the ignition when you've drifted about 4 feet away from the boat. We'll follow you. Okay. He pushes the jet ski away from the launch and it floats gently into the main harbor. When he gives me the OK sign, I press the ignition button and the engine roars to life. Okay, Mrs. Gray. Easy does it, Taylor shouts. I squeeze the accelerator. The jet ski lurches forward, then stalls. Crap! How does Christian make it look so easy? I try again, and once again, I stall. Double crap. Just steady on the gas, Mrs. Gray, Taylor calls. Yeah, I mutter under my breath. I try once more, very gently squeezing the lever, and the jet ski lurches forward, but this time, it keeps going. Yes! It goes some more. It still keeps going. I want to shout and squeal in excitement, but I resist. I cruise gently away from the yacht into the main harbor. Behind me, I hear the throaty roar of the motor launch. When I squeeze the gas further, the jet ski leaps forward, skating across the water. With the warm breeze in my hair and a fine sea spray on either side of me, I feel free. This rocks. No wonder Christian never lets me drive. Rather than head for the shore and curtail the fun, I veer around to do a circuit of the stately fair lady. Wow, this is so much fun. I ignore Taylor and the crew behind me and speed around the yacht for a second time. As I complete the circuit, I spot Christian on deck. I think he's gaping at me, though it's difficult to tell. Bravely, I lift one hand from the handlebars and wave enthusiastically at him. He looks like he's made of stone, but finally he raises his hand in the semblance of a stiff wave. I can't work out his expression, and something tells me I don't want to, so I head to the marina, speeding across the blue water of the Mediterranean, which shimmers in the late afternoon sun. At the dock, I wait and let Taylor pull up ahead of me. His expression is bleak, and my heart sinks, though Gaston looks vaguely amused. I wonder briefly if something has happened to chill Gallic-American relations, but Deep down, I suspect the problem is probably me. Gaston leaps out of the motorboat and ties it to the moorings, while Taylor directs me to come alongside. Very gently, I ease the jet ski into position beside the boat and line up beside him. His expression softens a little. "Just switch off the ignition, Mrs. Gray," he says calmly, reaching for the handlebars and holding out a hand to help me into the motorboat. I nimbly climb aboard, impressed that I don't fall in. "Mrs. Gray," Taylor says nervously, his cheeks pink once more. "Mr. Gray is not entirely comfortable with you riding on the jet ski." He's practically squirming with embarrassment, and I realize he's had an irate call from Christian. Oh, my poor, pathologically overprotective husband. What am I going to do with you? I smile serenely at Taylor. I see. Well, Taylor, Mr. Gray is not here, and if he's not entirely comfortable, I'm sure he'll give me the courtesy of himself when I'm back on board. Taylor winces. "Very good, Mrs. Gray," he says quietly, handing me my purse. As I climb out of the boat, I catch a glimpse of his reluctant smile, and it makes me want to smile too. I cannot believe how fond I am of Taylor, but I really don't appreciate being scolded by him. He's not my father or my husband. I sigh. Christian's mad, and he has enough to worry about at the moment. What was I thinking? As I stand on the dock waiting for Taylor to climb up, I feel my BlackBerry vibrate in my purse. Out. Sade's "Your Love is King" is my ringtone for Christian. Only for Christian. "Hi," I murmur. "Hi," he says. "I'll come back on the boat. Don't be mad." I hear his small gasp of surprise. It was fun though," I whisper. He sighs. "Well, far be it for me to curtail your fun, Mrs. Gray. Just be careful, please." Oh my! Permission to have fun? I will. Anything you want from town? Just you, back in one piece. I'll do my best to comply, Mr. Gray. I'm glad to hear it, Mrs. Gray. We aim to please, I respond with a giggle. I hear the smile in his voice. Laters, baby. Laters, Christian. He hangs up. Jet ski crisis averted, I think. The car is waiting, and Taylor holds the door open for me. I wink at him as I climb in, and he shakes his head in amusement. In the car, I fire up the email on my BlackBerry. From Anastasia Gray. Subject, thank you. Date, August 17th, 2011, 16:55. To Christian Gray. For not being too grouchy, your loving wife, XXX. From Christian Gray. Subject, trying to stay calm. Date, August 17th, 2011, 16:59. To Anastasia Gray. You're welcome. Come back in one piece. This is not a request. X. Christian Gray, CEO and overprotective husband. Gray Enterprises Holdings, Inc. His response makes me smile. My control freak. Why did I want to come shopping? Shopping, but deep down, I know why. And I walk determinedly past Chanel, Gucci, Dior, and the other designer boutiques, and eventually find the antidote to what ails me in a small, overstocked, touristy store. It's a little silver ankle bracelet with small hearts and little bells. It tinkles sweetly, and it costs €5. As soon as I've bought it, I put it on. This is me. This is what I like. Immediately, I feel more comfortable. I don't want to lose touch with the girl who likes this, ever. Deep down, I know that I'm not only overwhelmed by Christian himself, but also by his wealth. Will I ever get used to it? Taylor and Gaston follow me dutifully through the late afternoon crowds, and I soon forget they are there. I want to buy something for Christian, something to take his mind off what's happening in Seattle. But what do I buy for the man who has everything? I pause in a small modern square surrounded by stores and gaze at each one in turn. When I spy an electronics store, our visit to the gallery earlier today, and our visit to the Louvre come back to me. We were looking at the Venus de Milo at the time. Christian's words echo in my head. We can all appreciate the female form. We love to look whether in marble or oil or satin or film. It gives me an idea, a daring idea. I just need help choosing the right one, and there's only one person who can help me. I wrestle my BlackBerry out of my purse and call Jose. Who? He mumbles sleepily. Jose, it's Anna. Anna, hi. Where are you? You okay? He sounds more alert now. I'm in Cannes in the south of France, and I'm fine. South of France, huh? You in some fancy hotel? No. We're staying on a boat. A boat? I clarify, sighing. I see. I clarify, sighing. I see. His tone chills. Shit. I should not have called him. I don't need this right now. Jose, I need your advice. My advice? He sounds stunned. Sure, he says. And this time, he's much more friendly. I tell him my plan. 2 hours later, Taylor helps me out of the motor launch onto the steps up to the deck. Gaston is helping the deckhand with the jet ski. Christian is nowhere to be seen, and I scurry down to our cabin to wrap his present. Childish scent delight. You will be on sometime. Christian startles me just as I am applying the last piece of tape. I turn to find him standing in the doorway to it, watching me into me. Am I still in trouble over jet ski, or is it the fire's office? Everything in control at your office? I ask tentatively. More or less, he says, an annoyed frown flitting across his face. I did a little shopping, I murmur, hoping to lighten his mood, and praying his annoyance is not directed at me. He smiles warmly, and I know we're okay. What did you buy? This. I put my foot up on the bed and show him my ankle chain. Very nice, he says. He steps over to me and fondles the tiny bells so that they jingle sweetly around my ankle. He frowns again and runs his fingers lightly along the mark, sending tingles up my leg. And this. I hold out the box, hoping to distract him. For me? He asks in surprise. I nod shyly. He takes the box and shakes it gently. He grins his boyish, dazzling smile and sits down beside me on the bed. Leaning over, he grasps my chin and kisses me. Thank you, he says with shy delight. You haven't opened it yet. I'll love it, whatever it is. He gazes down at me, his eyes glowing. I don't get many presents. It's hard to buy you things. You have everything. I have you. You do. I grin at him. Oh, you so do, Christian. He makes short work of the wrapping paper. Nikon? He glances up at me, puzzled. I know you have your compact digital camera, but this is for, portraits and the like. It comes with 2 lenses. He blinks at me, still not understanding. Today in the gallery, you liked the Florent-style photographs, and I remember what you said in the Louvre. And, of course, there were those other photographs. I swallow, trying my best not to recall the images I found in his closet. He stops breathing, his eyes wide as realization dawns, and I continue hurriedly before I lose my nerve. I thought you might, like to take pictures of me. Pictures of you? He gapes at me, ignoring the box on his lap. I nod, desperately trying to gauge his reaction. Finally, he gazes back down at the box, his fingers tracing over the illustration of the camera on the front with fascinated reverence. What is he thinking? Oh, this is not the reaction I was expecting, and my subconscious glares at me like I'm a domesticated farm animal. Christian never reacts the way I expect. He looks back up, his eyes filled with, what, pain? Why do you think I want this? He asks, bemused. No. You said you want it. Don't you? I ask, refusing to acknowledge my subconscious, who is questioning why anyone would want erotic photographs of me. Christian swallows and runs a hand through his hair, and he looks so lost, so confused. He takes a deep breath. For me, photos like those have usually been an insurance policy, Anna. I know I've objectified women for so long, he says, and pauses awkwardly. And you think taking pictures of me is, objectifying me? All the air leaves my body, and the blood drains from my face. He scrunches up his eyes. I am so confused, he whispers. When he opens his eyes again, they are wide and wary, full of some raw emotion. Shit, is it me? My questions earlier about his birth mom? The fire at his office? Why do you say that? I whisper, panic rising in my throat. I thought he was happy. I thought we were happy. I thought I made him happy. I don't want to confuse him, do I? My mind starts racing. He hasn't seen Flynn in nearly 3 weeks. Is that it? Is that the reason he's unraveling? Shit, should I call Flynn? And in a possibly unique moment of extraordinary depth and clarity, it comes to me. The fire, Charlie Tango, the jet ski. He's scared. He's scared for me. And seeing these marks on my skin must bring that home. He's been fussing about them all day, confusing himself because he's not used to feeling uncomfortable about inflicting pain. The thought chills me. He shrugs, and once more his eyes move down to my wrist, where the cuff he bought me this afternoon used to be. Bingo. Christian, these don't matter. I hold up my wrist, revealing the fading white. You gave me a safe word. Shit, yesterday was fun. I enjoyed it. Stop brooding about it. I like rough sex. I've told you that before. I blush scarlet as I try to quash my rising panic. He gazes at me intently, and I have no idea what he's thinking. Maybe he's measuring my words. I stumble on. Is this about the fire? Do you think it's connected somehow to Charlie Tango? Is this why you're worried? Talk to me, Christian, please. He stares at me, saying nothing, and the silence expands between us again as it did this afternoon. Holy fucking crap. He's not going to talk to me. I know. Don't overthink this, Christian, I scold quietly, and the words echo, disturbing a memory from the recent past, his words to me about his stupid contract. I reach over, take the box from his lap, and open it. He watches me passively as if I'm a fascinating alien creature. Knowing that the camera is prepped by the overly helpful salesman in the store and ready to go, I fish it out of the box and remove the lens cap. I point the camera at him, so his beautiful, anxious face fills the frame. I press the button and keep it pressed, and 10 pictures of Christian's alarmed expression are captured digitally for posterity. I'll objectify you then, I murmur, pressing the shutter again. On the final still, his lips twitch almost imperceptibly. I press again, and this time he smiles. A small smile, but a smile nevertheless. I hold down the button once more and see him physically relax in front of me and pout. A full-on, posed, ridiculous, blue steel pout, and it makes me giggle. Oh, thank heavens! Mr. Mercurial is back, and I've never been so pleased to see him. I thought it was my present, he mutters sulkily, but I think he's teasing. Well, it was supposed to be fun, but apparently it's a symbol of women's oppression. I snap away, taking more pictures of him, and watch the amusement grow on his face in super close up. Then his eyes darken, and his expression changes to predatory. You want to be oppressed, he murmurs sulkily. Not oppressed, no, I murmur back, snapping again. I could oppress you big time, Mrs. Gray, he threatens, his voice husky. I know you can, Mr. Gray, and you do, frequently. His face falls. I lower the camera and stare at him. What's wrong, Christian? My voice oozes frustration. Tell me! He says nothing. God, he's so infuriating. I lift the camera to my eye again. Tell me, I insist. Nothing, he says, and abruptly disappears from the viewfinder. In one swift, smooth move, he sweeps the camera box onto the cabin floor, grabs me, and pushes me down onto the bed. He sits astride me. Hey! I exclaim, and take more photographs of him, smiling down at me with dark intent. He grabs the camera by the lens, and the photographer becomes the subject as he points the Nikon at me and presses the shutter down. So, you want me to take pictures of you, Mrs. Gray? He says, amused. All I can see of his face is his unruly hair and a broad grin on his sculptured mouth. Well, for a start, I think you should be laughing, he says, and he tickles me ruthlessly under my ribs, making me squeal and giggle and squirm beneath him until I grasp his wrist in a vain attempt to make him stop. His grin widens, and he renews his efforts while snapping pictures. No! Stop! I scream. Are you kidding? He growls and puts the camera down beside us so that he can torture me with both hands. Christian! I splutter and gasp my laughing protest. He has never, ever tickled me before. Stop! I thrash my head from side to side, trying to wiggle out from under him, giggling and pushing both of his hands away. But he's unrelenting, grinning down at me, enjoying my torment. Christian, stop! I plead, and he stops suddenly. Grabbing both of my hands, he holds them down on either side of my head while leaning over me. I am panting and breathless with laughter. His breathing mirrors mine, and he gazes down at me with, what? My lungs stop functioning. Wonder? Love? Reverence? Holy cow, that look! You are so beautiful, he breathes. I stare up at his dear, dear face bathed in the intensity of his gaze, and it's as if he's seeing me for the first time. Leaning down, he closes his eyes and kisses me, enraptured. His response is a wake-up call to my libido. Seeing him like this, undone by me. He releases my hands and curls his fingers around my head and into my hair, holding me gently in place, and my body rises and fills with my arousal, responding to his kiss. And suddenly, the nature of his kiss alters, no longer sweet, reverential, and
Alexander would
admiring,
then meet the
but
Persian king
carnal,
on the
deep,
battlefield at the
and devouring,
Mesopotamian site
his
called
tongue invading my mouth,
and he would
taking,
win this
not
battle,
giving, his kiss
effectively
possessing a
opening
desperate,
the
needy
kingdom
edge.
Persia for all of
As
these
desire
lands up
courses
to
through my blood, awakening every muscle and sinew in its weight,
Alexander would then
I
mop
feel
up
a
those
frisson of
societies
alarm.
in the east of the
Oh,
Achaemenid Empire, such as
what's
Bactria
wrong?
and Sogdiana,
He
therefore
inhales
becoming
sharply
the
and
new
groans.
ruler of a
Oh,
Macedonian
what did you do
empire.
to me? He murmurs,
Despite
lost
Alexander
and
the
raw.
Great having a
He moves
reputation
suddenly,
of being
lying
arguably
down
the
on top of
greatest
me,
military leader
pressing me
of all
into the
time,
mattress,
there are
one hand
areas
cupping
of
my chin, the
controversy.
other skimming over my
He
body,
killed one
my
of his
breast,
trusted
my
officers,
waist,
Cletus
my
the Black,
hip,
with
and
a
around my
javelin
behind.
after a drunken
He kisses me
argument.
again, pushing his leg
Alexander
between
was
mine,
insatiable in
raising
his
my
desire
knee
to
and grinding
subjugate
against me.
more and more lands
His erection
kingdoms
straining
and
against our
more and
clothes.
more lands
His erection
kingdoms.
straining against raising
His
my
desire
knee
to
and
subjugate
grinding against
more
me.
and more lands
His erection
kingdoms
straining
and
against our
more
clothes and my
rulers.
sex.
After the
I gasp
successful
and moan
battle
against his
of
lips,
Hydaspes,
losing myself to his
Alexander's
fervent
army
passion.
was fed up
I dismiss the
and
distant alarm bells in the
mutinous,
back of my mind,
and Alexander had to
knowing
make
that he
the tough
wants me,
decision
that
upon
he
reaching the
needs me,
city of
and that when it
Taxila
comes to
to
communicating
head
with me,
back towards
this is his
Mesopotamia
favorite
to
form of
pacify his
self-expression.
troops.
I kiss him with
The
renewed
way back to
abandon,
Persepolis
running my
was
fingers through
troubled.
his hair, fisting my
Alexander
hands,
was killed
holding
when he was
tight.
struck by an
He
arrow
tastes
during
so
the
good
Malian
and smells of
campaign
Christian,
on his way out to
my
the eastern
Christian.
grasslands of the
Abruptly,
Persian
he
Empire.
stops, stands up,
Even though he
and pulls
recovered,
me off the bed so that
many
I
of
am
his
standing in
army
front of him,
lost their
dazed.
lives.
He undoes the button on my shorts and
the
kneels quickly,
unforgiving Gedrosian
yanking them and my
desert.
panties down. And before I can breathe
When
again,
Alexander
I am
did
back on the
eventually
bed
make it back
beneath
to
him and he's
Mesopotamia,
unbuttoning his
he was
flag.
furious to
Whoa,
learn that some of
he's
his
not taking off his
officials
clothes or my t-shirt.
irresponsibly
He holds my
in his
head and with
absence.
no preamble whatsoever,
Alexander
he
understood
thrusts
that he
himself
had to
inside
take
me,
decisive
making
action
me cry
to
out,
prevent tension
more in
between the
surprise than anything
Macedonians
else.
and the
But I
Persians.
can still
So
hear
he
the
would
hiss of
punish
his
those
breath
officials
forced
who
through
had
his
let him
clenched
down,
teeth.
even executed
Yes,
some,
he
before
hisses
giving
close to
some
my
of
ear.
Persians
He
immortal
stills,
military
then
status
swivels his
in
hips
place
once,
of those
pushing
veteran
deeper, making
Macedonian
me groan.
military leaders.
Need you, he
Alexander
growls,
also arranged
his
for many
voice
of his
low and
Macedonian
husky.
officers
He
to
runs
marry
his
the
teeth along
daughters
my jaw,
of the noble
nipping and
families
sucking,
of Persian
and then
lands
he's
that he
kissing
had
me again
conquered
hard.
in a bid
I wrap
to
my legs and
consolidate
arms around
power
him,
over his
cradling and
new
holding him
empire.
hard against me,
Before
determined
Alexander
to
could
wipe
move on
out
to his
whatever's
next
worrying him.
conquest, he
And he
fell
starts to
ill and
move
died in
like he's trying to
323
climb
BCE
inside me,
at the
over
age
and
of
over,
32.
frantic, primal,
Alexander's death
desperate, and
triggered
before I lose
great
myself to the
unrest
insane
in
rhythm
his
and pace
vast
he's setting,
empire.
I briefly
Warfare
wonder
would break
once more
out,
what's driving him,
particularly in
worrying
the
him.
lands back in the
But my body takes
Greek-speaking
over,
heartlands.
obliterating the thought, climbing
And
and
then
building so I
rise
am
up against
awash with
Macedonian
sensation,
oppression quite
meeting him
quickly,
thrust for
and we
thrust,
shouldn't be too
listening
surprised
to
to
his
hear
harsh
this.
breathing,
My
labored
vet
and
may have
fierce at my
struggled to
ear,
accept
knowing
his
that he's
minor
lost in
role
me.
in Greek
I
politics
groan
when
loudly,
considering its
panting.
rich and
It's
glorious
so
history.
erotic, his need for me.
Orators
I am
such as
reaching, reaching,
would
and he's
incite
driving me higher,
Athenians to be
overwhelming
patriotic
me,
and
taking
believe
me,
in their
and
city's
I want
greatness.
this. I want this so
died
much
before
for
Alexander
him.
the Great's other
Come
orator,
with me,
who was still
he
alive,
gasps,
was
and he rears up
Demosthenes.
over me so I have to break my
The
hold around
Athenians
him.
rose up against the
Open your
Macedonians
eyes,
and
he
almost
orders. I
starved
need to
the
see you.
Macedonian leader
His voice is urgent,
Antipater
implacable.
into submission.
My eyes flicker open momentarily,
Athenians
and the
failed
sight
when
of him above
Macedonian
me,
reinforcements
his face
arrived,
taut with
and
ardor,
Antipater
his
took
eyes
control
raw
of
and
his
glowing.
lands and
His
forces
passion
yet
and his
again.
love is my undoing.
Antipater
And on
showed
cue I
no
come,
sympathy towards
throwing
the
my head
Athenians
back as my
and
body
defeated
pulses
them,
around him.
signaling the
Oh,
end of
Anna,
what is referred
he
to
cries,
as
and he
the
joins my
Lamian
climax,
War,
driving into
disassembling
me,
the
then stilling
democratic
and
governance
collapsing
of
onto
the
me.
polis.
He rolls over so that I'm
A
sprawled on
number
top
of
of him,
Alexander's
and
chief
he's still
statesmen and
inside
military
me.
generals were
As I
eager
surface
to
from my
take a piece
orgasm and my
of
body
Alexander's
steadies and
vast
calms,
empire for
I want to make
themselves.
some quip about
One
being
of the most
objectified and
fortunate
oppressed,
was
but my tongue,
Ptolemy,
uncertain of his
who
mood.
became Ptolemy
I
the
glance
First
up from Christian's
Soter,
chest
the
to examine his
satrap of
face.
Egypt,
His
and
eyes are
styled
closed and his
as the
arms are
new
wrapped
pharaoh.
around me, clinging
Ptolemy
tight.
would look
I kiss his chest through the thin fabric of his linen shirt. Tell me, Christian, what's wrong? I ask softly, and wait anxiously to see if even now, sated by sex, he'll tell me. I feel his arms tighten around me further, but it's his only response. He's not going to talk. Inspiration hits me. I give you my solemn vow to be your faithful partner in sickness and in health, to stand by your side in good times and in bad, to share your joy as well as your sorrow. I murmur. He freezes. His only movement is to open wide his fathomless eyes and gaze at me as I continue my wedding vows. I promise to love you unconditionally, to support you in your goals and dreams, to honor and respect you, to laugh with you and cry with you, to share my hopes and dreams with you, and bring you solace in times of need. Pause, willing him to talk to me. His lips parted, but says nothing, and to cherish you for as long as we both shall live. I sigh. Oh, Anna, he whispers, and moves again, breaking our precious contact so that we're lying side by side. He strokes my face with the backs of his knuckles. I solemnly vow that I will safeguard and hold dear and deep in my heart our union and you. He whispers, his voice hoarse. I promise to love you faithfully, forsaking all others, through the good times and the bad, in sickness and in health, regardless of where life takes us.